Welcome back, runners. We have a huge amount of news about Marathon today. I'll leave all the timestamps down below so you can skip ahead if you've already seen anything. We're going to go through the launch gameplay trailer. I'm going to be pretty quiet during this. It seems really lore intense, which is fantastic, but I can't remember anything that I covered about Marathon's lore in the past. And yes, I think you have convinced me to go back and revisit the OG Marathon lore. I'm working on it. Give me a little bit of time. I'll see what I can come up with. Okay, then I'm going to read you the Marathon Server Slam details. This will be available to everyone. So if you're on the fence for Marathon, you can try it for free before paying 40 bucks or whatever it is. Then this is the big one. This took me the entire day, which is why it's dark right now. So I'm recording at nighttime. BurntPeanut, a massive streamer that has like 60, 70,000 concurrent viewers on just Twitch alone, not to mention YouTube, had an exclusive playtest with Joe Ziegler and another streamer called Bungie. So pretty much raw 2 hours of raw gameplay footage. I went through everything and picked out any part I think was interesting to showcase the game. So I've got a summary of all that. And then finally, we got another 5 minutes of Outpost gameplay with multiple points of view, B-roll provided by Bungie. I can't find the original source apart from this Reddit post from Zamboy. And so I haven't actually watched this yet. I'll try to do my best to give you some commentary on that. I just thought I'll bundle all of this Marathon news into one single mega video. All right, starting with the launch trailer. I'm going to turn off the camera for this so you can just enjoy. I might comment, I might not. Let's see.
Good morning, New Cascadia. This is Joy, your community outreach liaison. It's a lovely day outside. It's quiet. Very quiet. Rainfall is expected to begin in the early afternoon and last until a long time. For those who did not wake, your restless dreams endure. So small among the stars. Breathe softly. Do not worry. Peace is upon you. And I am here to walk with you into its embrace.
Mayday! 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 This is General Dan Agreed of the New Cascadia colony on Tau 34. Whoever's listening, whatever's out there, we need anything. Weapons, supplies, a way out, a way back. Mayday, mayday. This is Dan Agreed. Tau Ceti. I feel like I'm praying. We've had to do things to survive. Things I never would have. We're monsters. We're all monsters.
Embrace. Embrace. Embrace.
Mayday! 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 Mayday!
There we go. Not gonna lie, that definitely made me interested in the story and universe of Marathon. I know it's good stuff because I've covered it before. Okay, let's move on to the Server Slam details. Right. Marathon's Server Slam begins February 26th. It's time to begin your journey across the stars. Marathon Server Slam, our open preview weekend, runs from February 26th at 10 a.m. Pacific time to March 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Now's your chance to jump in, put our servers through their paces, and help us get ready for launch on March 5th. You'll be able to play worldwide on Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS with crossplay and cross-save enabled. We're also excited to be part of Steam Next Fest. Play the Slam, earn rewards for launch. If you join us as Starside, we've got some extra gear in store to make sure your Tau Ceti ready, Tau Ceti ready come launch day. Okay. Everyone who completes the introductory mission will unlock a unique emblem and a player background that marks you as part of the first wave of runners. Classic. You better do it or you miss out. On top of that, time spent during the slam will bank loot rewards you'll receive at launch based on how far you progress. Complete your first mission unlocks a standard arrival cache, which is standard implants times 6, standard runner shell cores times 4, standard weapon chip times 6, and weapons overrun and hardline. Reach runner level 10, unlock enhanced arrival cache. So you're gonna get 6 implants, 2 cores for each shell, so 12 total. Weapon mod chips times 4, and weapons enhanced magnum and enhanced hardline. And if you reach level 30, you're gonna get the deluxe version of the cache, which is deluxe and enhanced implants, 3 each, so 6 total. Deluxe and enhanced runner shell cores, 1 for each shell. That is 12 total. And deluxe and enhanced weapon chips to, look, it's a lot. Times 2 each, 4, so you get 4 total. And weapons deluxe magnum and an enhanced volley rifle and backpack, deluxe base backpack. This all seems actually really good to get you on your way to making builds. All the builds are about getting the right cores and the right implants, and then leveling up your weapons with some chip mods. So this is some pretty decent rewards, I think. The emblem, player banner, and loot rewards will be waiting for you when Marathon launches on March 5th. What you'll play during the Server Slam. All right, the Server Slam is a slice of Marathon's gameplay, enough to get comfortable, not enough to see everything. All right, I actually have a good infographic of this, which is a little bit better. Let me just bring this up. Right, so you'll get to play 5 of the runner shells plus Rook. So Destroyer, Recon, Vandal, Triage, Assassin, and Rook as a solo scavenger. We'll talk about why Thief's not on there in a moment. The zones you'll get is Perimeter and Dimash to play. So they call the maps zones. So that's what the maps you'll get to play. There's some progression for the factions, which early faction progression, which I'll talk about in a moment as well. And for launch, okay, these are the bonuses I've just talked about. So the early faction progression, to give some more details on that, take on early contracts for 5 factions: Sub-Acme, Miracaloric, Traxxas, Mida, and Arachne. Progress through the early faction levels and progression trees for each faction. Cool. Right, this is why Thief was missing from the list. So launch and season 1 will bring additional maps, factions, contracts, gear, and more, including 2 more zones. So this is when you're going to get Outpost, which is what we saw gameplay of today, set in the middle of a thriving UESC military installation, and Cryo Archive, which is meant to be like the end game zone aboard the derelict UESC Marathon, unlocks during season 1. This is where you get the 6th runner shell, Thief, which actually was what BurntPeanut was playing as today. Full progression of all 6 factions, including additional contracts, deeper upgrade trees, and the addition of the 6th faction, Saguchi Genetics. And also ranked mode unlocks during season 1, other secrets and surprises. Right. Watch the launch gameplay trailer. We've done this. There's a little bit of lore here. In 2472, the UESC Marathon left Mars with 30,000 colonists aboard. Its mission: establish a new home in a distant solar system. 300 years later, they arrived. Then silence. The ship and its colony were lost. Until now. Your future and the mysteries of the past await on Tau Ceti 4. Marathon releases on March 5th. Marathon officially launches on March 5th, 2026 on Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, with a cross-play and cross-save support at launch. You can pre-order now to secure additional in-game rewards, including weapon cosmetics, and emblem, a player background for launch, plus a set of Destiny 2 rewards linked to your Bungie account. Pre-order here. PlayStation Plus weapon charms, and we've got one more thing. If you're playing on PlayStation 5 with PlayStation Plus at launch, you'll get access to a set of exclusive weapon charms inspired by Helldivers 2. Well, that's kind of cool. Death Stranding 2 and Ghosts of Yotei. PlayStation Plus members can redeem all 3 weapon charms on PlayStation Store for Marathon releases on March 5th. We'll have weapon charms for Steam and Xbox players as well, which we'll share more about in the future. Oh, damn. Ghost of Yotei. Helldiver's weapon charm. Oh, that's Death Stranding 2's guitar. That's actually pretty cool. All right, come on and jam. Whether you're here to loot powerful items, hunt players, take down UESC, sorry, or just see what Marathon actually feels like to play, we'd love to have you in the Service Slam. Jump in, stress the service, earn your rewards, help us get ready for March 5th. Cool. There you go. Service Slam details for you. I highly recommend you give it a shot if you don't know if you're going to like the game. This should really tell you if you're going to like it or not, and then you don't have to waste your money if you don't like it. Okay, on to the big part of this video, which is going to be about this 2-hour stream and what I spotted and what I think might be interesting to talk about. Let's roll. Here's my overview of the 2-hour play session with BurntPeanut. They played a map called Outpost with the game director Joe Ziegler and another streamer called Bungie. It was for about 2 hours. The theme of the map was a locked central area called the Pinwheel, and you had to collect these different rarity key cards to enter it: green, yellow, and orange. I believe there's meant to be loot in the center there in the Pinwheel, but BurntPeanut didn't really focus on looking for loot, as once inside the first locked area, there was like a second locked door that you could get into, and they were very focused on unlocking the first locked area into the Pinwheel and then unlocking this secret door. This room typically had a higher rarity keycard entries than the first one. So like the first entry, I think, was mostly like yellow and green keycards. And then this like secret room was orange and like orange and yellow keycards to get in. The keycards are specific for that map and is like a central objective that you can focus on to get yourself some more loot on this specific map. You can't exfil with these cards, even though like there are other normal locked doors that you can go into that you can find a key card for and you can open and get extra loot. This is like a mini puzzle for this specific map, so they're items to be used on the map to get in there. Of course, this central locked area becomes like a PvP hot zone as everyone tries to scavenge the right key cards and get in there and nab the loot. So they actually only completed both locked doors, like the first set of doors into Pinwheel and then like the second secret door, in 2 hours. They only did it once, and Bungie didn't exfil at all the entire time. They died pretty much every match. Right, more information on this Pinwheel and the keycards. As for collecting the keycards to get into the Pinwheel, we spotted the green keycards spawning on top of bench tops, but I assume they probably spawn inside containers too. The yellow cards were actually inside specific boxes, and the symbol on the box corresponded to the Pinwheel terminal where you put the keycards in. Similarly, the master keycard, which is like the orange reddish keycard, spawned in these containers. You can see its symbol on the front, which also corresponds to the symbol on the Pinwheel terminal. So of course, if this was like your first time completing it and you hadn't watched any footage, you obviously would be using these like visual cues to like solve this like mini puzzle. There were other similar like environmental puzzles. I'm calling them puzzles, which is a little bit of a stretch, but it's also like they have to be relatively simple because people are trying to kill you while you solve it, I guess. So in this one, you had to like find these controllers, like these boxes on the wall or hidden elsewhere, and shoot them. And I think if you shot 4 of them, it would actually open these laser doors and you could get into this area without having the key cards. I'm not 100% sure. They didn't actually achieve it. A Rook tried to tell them how to do it, and then, which is a developer, by the way, because only people playing this with the 2 streamers and everyone else worked at Bungie, and they actually couldn't find or remember where these boxes were to shoot, so they didn't get in that way. Let's talk about random events. Like throughout the playtime and what I think was random intervals, this event would occur called Heat Cascade, and it would basically shower the outside areas with like sparks or fire or something coming down from the sky. And if you were caught outside during this time, it would cause damage. So it made all the players basically go back indoors, or at least couldn't like push through the outdoor areas while this event was happening. Let's talk about enemies. I would say that the enemies didn't look difficult, but they were still deadly. If you were caught out of position, you could easily get downed. In addition, they did do what the other previews had said, which is they slowly drain your resources, your health, your shields, your bullets, getting lower and lower each time you get into combat with the enemies. We did see this flying jellyfish enemy that attached tentacles to the player, applying debuffs. One of the movement debuffs was like, one was a movement debuff and the other was like a healing debuff. It was hard to tell how difficult the AI was, as they were running quite good weapons most of the time. And for the playtest, they basically had unlimited money. They could click on this item that would just give them random things, and they could just sell that for money. So it'd be interesting to see how difficult the enemies would have been if they had lower gear, and when resources were more scarce, didn't have as many bullets, they ran out of health shields and all that kind of stuff. So we also saw commanders, which we had seen in the alpha. They're like the tougher group leaders. Talking about animations, there was one really nice animation I spotted. When someone's accessing their inventory in the game, you can tell because they kind of reach behind into their pockets. So if you're chatting with a teammate, and you can tell that they're like shuffling through their bags based on this animation. Or if you're trying to ambush an enemy team and they've maybe just looted some bodies, and you see them doing this animation, you know they're rifling through their bags, and you can, maybe coordinate your ambush that way. I just thought it was kind of neat to see that. In regards to the vendors, we got to see the process of buying gear from vendors, and you can see what I assume is higher tier gear that they couldn't purchase yet because their faction wasn't their reputation with that faction wasn't high enough yet. So they were only able to buy all the lower tier gear from the vendors. Talking about build crafting, unfortunately we didn't see any build crafting. But what was even more interesting is that Peanut often put the wrong core on his character. So for example, he put this triage core on his character who's a thief. So I'm assuming this did absolutely nothing. Kind of odd that it allows you to do it. Maybe they just allow it so you can save like backpack room. So like if you're in a raid, you can just chuck a core on your character as like a spare inventory slot, even if it does nothing. Not too sure, but that kind of went over their heads about how to apply cores and making sure you had the right core for the right character. Talking about free kits, not Rook, but free kits or sponsor kits. No one actually used one during the raids, but we did see them. They are free and they provide a basic weapon and some utility, and they look like they block out all your other slots, meaning you can't enter a run without any other parts equipped to it. You just have to use what's provided in the kit. The kits are then also linked to factions, so like you have a MITRE sponsored kit, so it comes from the faction MITRE. They're giving you some gear to take out, and if you're successful with the run using that MITRE kit, you get reputation towards that faction. I don't know if there is a limit on how many free kits you can take out, but there didn't seem to be. In fact, the game auto equipped these like free sponsored kits when you lost everything. There were also some higher tier faction kits as well that you could actually purchase. And I suspect this is just like buying a pre-loadout with better gear. Talking about downed players and eliminations. When a player is down, you can just shoot them to finish them off, or you can interact with them to cause a finisher, or in Peanut's case, you can just spam melee and finish them off that way, which actually did seem very quick and effective, to be honest. I think some implants though do give bonuses for finishers, and also some runners like Recon has a finisher specific trait, like it pings the remaining team members when you use a finisher. So definitely there is some reasons to use a finisher that might be a bit slower over spamming melee. What I was surprised to see when it comes to like downed players and eliminations is that you can be revived after you've been eliminated. And this was in the alpha, and I don't know if I really liked it, but there was also no solo queues in the alpha, so maybe this is going to feel okay now. So when you first lose your life down to 0, you get downed and you can crawl around leaving a blood trail behind you, and then an enemy can finish you off, eliminating you, but you can still be revived by teammates after being eliminated. It just takes a little bit longer to be revived. It means you need to wipe an entire enemy team, or what you could do is take their weapons from their dropped backpack in case you leave and you couldn't find the last little person hiding in a corner, and you know they're probably going to get a revive when you move on and you've wasted too much time. If you just take their equipment from their backpack, at least then when they're revived, they're not going to have anything, I'm assuming. if you want to confirm if a player has been revived after being eliminated, so let's say you get into a big fight and you can't remember what's happened, you basically need to count how many bags there are. If a bag is missing and there is a decaying body, it means someone's been revived and they've run off. Let's talk rooks. We saw a lot of rooks join the game, which is like a free kit that's tied to its own class called rook. They can only join solo and join in late. Maybe 2 to 3 rooks interacted with like Peanut and Gingy per match. Well, actually, at least one, but there were some matches like up to 3 rooks would come and say hi to them. And of course, you know, this might be inflated because people were trying to get in front of the camera and role play a little bit as rook. But we don't actually know how many rooks will spawn. We know 18 players will be in the large maps and 12 in the small maps. We don't know how many rooks can spawn in late. Rooks were definitely using more proximity chat. A lot of people are like role playing, but that could also be just because it was on the stream. I personally would love for this to continue in the main game. I would love to come across some role playing rooks. With all that said, I am a tiny bit confused about the purpose of rook now that I've seen sponsored kits. I knew the sponsored kits were originally in the alpha, but I kind of assumed that rook would replace free kits. Like he was the free kit, but now you have like sponsored free kits and you have a rook. And I'm not too sure why you would pick rook over a sponsored kit, because when you do a sponsored kit, you can play with your friends and you can play with a specific runner who has abilities. And if you play rook, you just basically got the ability to blend into AI, a worse weapon, a solo play, and spawn late. I guess they're banking on like spawning late is actually powerful because teams are getting beaten up by the AI and they're fighting, and maybe as a rook you could take out like a weakened team, I think. Right, talking about extractions, we saw the overtime feature for extractions. I'm pretty sure this was in the alpha from memory. It looked like once the timer got to 0, it actually gave you an additional 60 seconds and a final extract point. I'm not too sure on the final extract point if it's actually shared with every team. I think it is. But it's at least the last point, your last opportunity to extract from the match. You get down to 0, then you get like overtime for 60 seconds to get the final extraction. Backpack and equipment. We saw some additional perks on backpacks, like this medic backpack that actually gave buffs for healing and shield repair times, which seems like pretty powerful, to be honest. Thermal scopes were in there a lot and seemed, I think, very strong for like target acquisition. And even though I didn't see it on Peanut's stream, I think Gingy used it through smoke, which makes sense. You kind of would expect like thermals to be able to look through smoke, I think. And I would assume that maybe it also counters invis assassins. Like, can you see assassins who are invis if you have a thermal scope? That would be a pretty big counter to that class. Let's talk about the amount of loot. The team had basically been trying to get into this one secret room for the entirety of 2 hours. And once they did, it kind of looked like there was only one loot box in there. And it's always hard to tell because it's always quite frantic and people might be not looking the best. But it does seem to match the China report that said like loot was pretty scarce. And this did seem like they were doing a lot of fighting for not a huge amount of payoff, because there was so much PvP in that area trying to get in. Let's talk about runner abilities. Unfortunately, Peanut didn't really showcase the runner abilities very well. Only really using the grapple hook every now and then. He didn't use his prime ability once. Actually, he did use it once. He used it by accident. He fat fingered it once, which is this little drone that comes out and allows you to steal loot from people. Someone tried to use it on him, which was pretty funny, but he didn't actually use it. And I think he only used his, what do you call it? Your tactical ability, the scanning for loot, only like twice. So you didn't really get to see the runners shine very much. And you played Thief for the entire time. I think that was probably a little bit of a shame, because I do think this is like the point of difference with the game, so it would have been nice to see some more like abilities in there. Right, my personal thoughts on the 2-hour play session with Peanut and Joe and Gingy. Personally, I like the look of the indoor areas. They seemed like a lot of verticality and different areas you can get to and different access points you can get to. Lots of potential flanking maneuvers and like outplays during combat, which I thought was cool. I think while this keycard puzzle for the pinwheel is like pretty simple. You have to remember that everyone's fighting for it. And I think it's kind of cool having this like group objective like in the center of the map, which encourages people to move there. If you want to get involved, you can. If you don't, you could, I guess, loot elsewhere. I was surprised by this because it didn't really look that PvP heavy. And what I mean by that is like the third partying. When I play Arc Raiders and I'm in like PvP lobbies because I've been a naughty boy, man, you have like third, fourth, fifth third parties. I mean, especially in Stellar Montes, which is a little bit different. But, you know, I think if you get in a fight in Arc Raiders, you're almost guaranteed to have someone third party you, whether it's actual players or AI. And it didn't really happen that much with Peanut. Like, I didn't see it happen very often. Like, they won fights and then they had a fair bit of breathing room before moving off that point and getting into a fight, you know, in another area. So it might be a little bit more quiet. That might just be something to do with the server details. Like, I know everyone who was playing was from Bungie, and I'm assuming the lobby was full. But I don't know. Maybe they got instructions not to like third party the hell out of them every time. I'm not too sure. The economy did look scarce, confirming what other previews said. I think basically if they didn't have infinite money for the playtest and they played that way during release, they're going to be broke as hell. I mean, if you lose every single round, you're going to have $0. So that kind of confirmed. I think overall it was difficult to really showcase the strengths or what I think should be the strengths of Marathon, like showcasing the runners in action with their abilities, you know, making a build, seeing the benefits of the build. You kind of need to be broke and have to scavenge for loot to really understand how that is feeling. And because I had infinite money, there was no real risk for that. Regardless, I think it was really good to see some unedited raw footage. Alright, talking about unedited raw footage, we got 5 minutes of Outpost gameplay. I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm going to try give some commentary as we go through. Let's have a look. Okay, Outpost, which is the map. They got a gold shield. Okay. They're on a controller. You can see the buttons there. Having a look around. It's all rainy and stormy. I'm not too sure what class this. I think this is Destroyer, question mark. Just looking at their abilities there. That looks like a shield on the bottom UI on the left-hand side. Okay, this is our heat cascade. So outside is going to see this like flames come down. Okay, so it's like... Okay, it's like mortars. So there's like fire down. Yeah, so this is chipping away at their shields. This is AI. There's a thermal scope. Makes it so easy to see. Makes it so easy to see with that thermal scope. Everyone was just like kind of shooting through the shields. I wonder if you're better off using energy weapons. Okay, that was actually, this is the thief. So that was the loot tactical ability there, where they can see all the loot crates. I'm not too sure what this interaction is here. Okay, they're hacking some loot. Hacking a vault. Another thermal scope. Oh, so I think they spotted that invis there. They tried to use the thermals, but they had just dipped back behind. Wow, what did they get hit with? Their purple shield like went away instantly. Big old flank. Shotgun. That's kind of nice. Double barrel. We hear the footsteps then. Oh, their username's Born on Board. which is abbreviated to Bob, which is from the original Marathon. The people on Marathon were called Bobs. They'd never seen Earth or whatever. They were born on the Marathon. Born on board, Bob. Oh, okay, that was the flank there. Okay, this guy's got a self-revive. Press E for self-revive. Gonna try to get into a spot. Probably gonna get up. There's a blood trail. Okay, they're an assassin, so that's their prime ability, using smoke, and their passive trait lets them go invisible in smoke. This is what the extract looks like. That's pretty cool. You can like activate it and move away. There's the thermal scopes again. And look how easy it is to see with those things on. Maybe I'm just old. Yeah. Oh, boom. Okay, this is the prime ability of Thief, which is the loot drone. Now this is kind of cheeky. So they're on extract, and to just to get a little bit more greedy, they've flown to another extract to see if anyone's there, and they're going to try and steal some loot. It's really hard to see this. So I think they hit them, and that made them drop loot, and then they picked the loot up. And now they're going back to exfil. And there we go. Then it dropped the loot. Oh, that's cheeky. Oh, that's cheeky. Cheeky monkey. Right. All right, that's everything. This has been a monster day for Marathon News. Hopefully, appreciate everything being in a single video. Like and a comment, greatly appreciate it. I will see you next time. Bye bye.